I welcome you all in this video where you will learn about what is national income and what are the methods to calculate national income. After watching this video, you will be able to understand the meaning of national income and describe the methods of measuring national income. National income means the monetary value of goods and services produced by a country during a financial year. It is the net result of all economic activities of the people of any country during a period of 1 year and is valued in terms of money. As national income measures the monetary value of goods and services produced by a country during a financial year, let us first understand the circular flow of income and the process of production. Now, to produce any good or a service, we need some producers in the market. For example, say we have different organizations or firms which are involved in the production of goods and services. So now, to produce these goods and services, these organizations or business firms need some factors of production, which is they need some land, labor, capital, and organization, which is sometimes known as entrepreneurship. Now, who will provide these factors of production? For this, we have households in an economy. These households provide these factors of production to the organizations or business firms in the form of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. As a result, these business firms will start operating, they will produce different goods and services. Now, for providing these factors of production to these organizations and business firms, these business firms will pay back to the households in the form of factor incomes. Those who have provided land, they will get the rent for it. Those who have provided labor, they will get wages for it. Those who have provided capital, they will get interest for it. And those who have provided the entrepreneurship skills, those who are the owners of the organization, they will get profits for these services. So for all these factors of productions, we have factor income. So the households are providing factor of production to the business firms and are in return getting the factor payments or factor incomes in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. This movement of factor of production from the households to the business firms and movement of factor income or factor payments from the business firms to the households is known as the movement in factor market. After receiving the factor of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship or organization, these business firms produce various goods and services. Now the question is what they will do with these goods and services. It is but obvious that they will sell these goods and services in the market, and these households, they will buy the goods and services. So whatever good you have produced, being it watch, maybe a shoe, maybe a pen, maybe any other commodity or a service, these household will buy these goods and services produced by these business firms for their daily requirements. Now, when they are receiving the goods and services, these households pay back to these organizations some money for buying these goods and services. This movement of goods and services from the business firms to the households and money from the households to the business firms is known as movement in the product or commodity market. Now, let us understand how the money is flowing in an economy. And if you just pay your attention on the red circle, first, the business firms are paying the households in the form of factor incomes, which is in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profits, because they have provided factor of production to these business organizations. Now, the money received from these business firms will be utilized for buying some goods and services. And again, some goods and services will be bought from these business organization, and money will again go back to these business organization. So this money will be utilized by these business firms for again paying the rent, wages, interest or profits to their workers in the form of factor incomes, and again money will come to the households, which will be further utilized for making the payments for goods and services from some other business organizations in an economy. Now this red circle shows you how the money is flowing in an economy, and that is the reason it is known as money flow. But if you see the blue circle, first, these households are providing factor of production, land, labor, capital and organization to the business firms. And what these business firms are doing, they are selling goods and services to these households. So again and again this circle will keep on going, and this movement in the blue circle is known as real flow, where real goods and services are transferred from one sector to another. This flow of income from the business firms to the households and from the households to the business firms will keep on going in a circular flow. That is the reason we call it circular flow of income in a two-sector model. You have just understood the circular flow of income in a two-sector model. And in economics, in every model we have certain assumptions. So let us try to understand certain assumptions of a two-sector model. The first one is that there are only two sectors in the economy, which is households and firms, which are interacting with each other. The second important assumption is that these households do not save, which means whatever factor income they are receiving from these firms, they are utilizing it for buying certain goods and services. The third one is that there is no government, or even if the government is present, it does not perform any economic function, it does not tax, it does not spend, and it does not consume. The another important assumption is the economy is the closed one. That means there is no foreign trade. Neither we are importing the goods and services from the outside world, nor we are exporting the goods and services to the outside world. The next one is that there are no corporate savings or retained earnings, which means whatever is being received by these business firms by selling the goods and services, they utilize that money for paying it for the factor payments or factor incomes to the households. And the last one is prices of all goods and services, supply of labor and capital, and the state of production, technology are given and remain constant. There are three methods of measuring national income: product or value added method, income method, and final expenditure method. In a circular flow of income, when we measure the national income by measuring the aggregate value of spendings that the firm receive for the final goods and services they produce, this method is known as expenditure method. If we measure the flow of measuring the aggregate value of final goods and services produced by all firms, it will be known as product method. And if we measure the sum total of all factor incomes received by households, it is known as income method of measuring national income. Let us now briefly understand all the three methods of measuring national income. The first method is product or value added method. In this method, GDP is calculated by using the sum total of gross value added of all the firms in the economy taken together. The formula is GDP, which will be equivalent to gross value added by the first firm, gross value added by the second firm, and if you keep on adding gross value added by all the firms, it will give you the value of GDP at MP. Now, gross value added of the firm can be calculated by using the gross value of the output produced by a single firm minus value of intermediate goods used by that particular firm, and it will give you the gross value added by a single firm. And if you add all the gross value added, you will get GDP at MP. Now let us try to understand the difference between final goods and intermediate goods, which can help you in calculating gross value added of each firm. Suppose in an economy only two goods are produced, wheat and bread. A farmer produces wheat worth rupees 200. He sells wheat worth rupees 100 to a bread manufacturer and uses remaining wheat worth rupees 100 for his self-consumption. A bread manufacturing firm then converts the wheat into the bread and sells it for rupees 400 in the market. Here, wheat is the final good for the farmer, whereas an intermediate good for a bread manufacturing firm. As the national income measure the monetary value of goods and services produced in an economy, we may add rupees 100 and 400 and can say rupees 500 will be the final value of goods and services produced. But here it is important to note that there is a problem of double counting. The value of wheat is added twice, both by the farmer and the bread manufacturer. To avoid this problem, method of value added is used where the value of intermediate goods, say wheat, will be reduced. So the national income would be 100, which is the final value of wheat which is being produced by the farmer, plus value added by the bread manufacturing firm, which is rupees 400 minus 100 value of intermediate good. So if you club these two together, it will give you rupees 400. An alternative way to calculate the GDP is by looking at the demand side of the products using the expenditure method. In this, we will include C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where C stands for aggregate final consumption expenditure, I stands for aggregate final investment expenditure, G stands for aggregate expenditure of the government, X stands for aggregate expenditure by the foreigners on the exports, and M stands for aggregate imports expenditure incurred by the economy. Let us understand these components. The first component is C, aggregate final consumption expenditure, which will include all the consumption expenditure of the households, including the expenditure on the mobile phones, t-shirts, shoes, laptops, refrigerators, television, or the grocery items which they are buying for their consumption. The second item is I, aggregate final investment expenditure, which will include all the expenditures which are made by the corporates in the form of capital goods. The third one is G, which stands for aggregate expenditure of the government. Then we have exports, aggregate expenditure by the foreigners on the export items. And then we have aggregate imports expenditure incurred by the economy. So whatever we are exporting to the outside world, we are including in the national income because it is being produced in our country but sent to abroad. Whereas whatever expenditure is made by the households, by the business firms or the government from some foreign nation, the goods and services which they are buying from some foreign countries will be reduced while calculating the national income. The last method of measuring the national income is the income method, which is also known as factor income method. In this method, the national income is calculated by adding up all the incomes accruing to the basic factors of production used in producing the national product. So it will include all the wages and salaries paid to the individuals, gross profits, interest payments to all individuals, and rent which is paid to all the individuals, those who are providing their factors of production. Let us summarize all the three methods. The first one was product or value added method, in which we add all the gross value added by all the firms taken together. The second one is expenditure method, which is the combination of aggregate final consumption expenditure, aggregate final investment expenditure, aggregate expenditure of the government, exports minus imports. And the last one is income method, in which We include all the factor incomes like wages and salaries, gross profits, interest payments, and rent. Let us check what we have learned with the help of some multiple choice questions. And the first question is, which of the following are the two important sectors in a two-sector model of circular flow of income? And the options are A. Firms and government, B. Firms and households, C. Households and government, D. Households and financial institutions. And the right answer is B. Firms and households. Which of the following is not an assumption in a two-sector model of a circular flow of income? A. There are only two sectors in the economy. B. Consumers want to save more. C. There is no government, no tax. D. The economy is the closed one. There is no foreign trade. And the right answer is B. Consumers want to save more. Which of the following is not the method of measuring national income? A. Product or value added method. B. Income method. C. Final expenditure method. D. Income tax method. And the right answer is D. Income tax method. GVA in product method of measuring national income stands for A. Gross value added, B. Good value added, C. Green value added, D. Green value added. And the right answer is A. Gross value added. Thank you so much for watching this video.